Yes, so I'm back. So, um, okay, yes, yeah. So this is how these things go. Just we just keep cutting and coming back, cutting and coming back. Yes, hopefully I've just told her that we're back live, so hopefully that she will request again and it'll be better this time around and we'll just round it off in about 10 minutes. But I just believe that there's something for these 10 minutes. Next 10 minutes is going to change the game for someone. I just believe so. So with the grace of God, with the favor of God, and with this will work by God's grace. I just pray that works right now. So far so good. I would have loved to ask us. Yes, so she's back. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you see her? Can you hear her? If you can see her and hear her, so please laugh again, please. Please laugh again so we can know that we can hear you.
Hello, Apollonia. Hi, Rebecca.
Oh,
Can you
great,
guys hear me?
great.
Can you
Okay, so I
see
can
me?
hear you. It's a bit. Your screen is still hanging over here though, but as long as we can hear you and people can hear you and see you, that's what matters. Even if me I'm hanging, it's fine. As long as you are visible and audible, that's fine.
Oh, great. They can see me, they can hear me. Hallelujah. The devil is a liar.
S-O-N is a liar. All right, great. Let's go ahead then. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Let's go
Okay.
ahead. So you were talking about mutual funds, and then how it's an aggregate of different kind of assets, bonds, stock, and all that stuff. But you don't really like it. You prefer um, what's it called, stocks, right? So you want to expatiate on that.
Okay, so I prefer stocks because I'm able to analyze the individual stocks very well,
Okay.
and I make a decision which ones I want to go for.
Okay.
And so I rather do that than a fund manager pushing stocks to me that I'm not particularly in tune with.
Okay.
And that's what a mutual fund is. Doesn't mean that mutual fund is not good. It's a start, especially when you don't understand the market. Maybe you want to try out mutual funds, but make sure you thoroughly do your investigation. But you have to understand that there are gazillions of mutual funds out there. You have to make sure that you investigate 5-7 year returns of the mutual fund. You have to investigate their fees, and the fees can compound over the years. I mean, they typically charge 0.5%, 1%, 2% sometimes, So you want to investigate what the fees are before you commit yourself to it. Or you just look at a mutual fund that is doing very well and replicate it in your own stock selection. That you can do. That way you don't have to pay fees to people. So I prefer personally choosing my own stocks because over the years I have outperformed gazillions of mutual funds. So I prefer my own stock and I trust my own judgment. Another one you can consider, which I actually prefer over mutual funds, is what we call index funds. Index funds. So basically,
what's index funds?
Index fund. Okay, so basically on the New York, and when I talk about stocks in America, there are two exchanges. The way we have Nairobi Stock Exchange, Johannesburg Stock Exchange, Nigerian Stock Exchange. There are two in America. One is called NASDAQ, and one is called New York Stock Exchange, NYSE.
Okay.
So companies are listed on both exchanges. So index funds are basically what we call DGI, the Dow Jones Index, is the aggregate of the top 30 companies, usually. Sometimes they're not top, but there's an aggregate of 30 companies, that make up the Dow Jones. So an index fund, they look at the 30 companies and they come up with algorithms and mimic that kind of a fund, which they call index funds.
Okay.
So there's another index fund, another index that we call S&P 500. S&P 500 is made up of the top 500 companies in America on the stock exchange, maybe 505 companies together right now. So an index fund is created that mimics the performance of the 505 company stocks, and they come up with the algorithm. So basically they aggregate all this stuff and they come up with a percentage and say, you know what, the S&P has gone up 200 points today. Right now, the S&P is about usually between 2,000 and 3,000 points. The DJI, before I went on the call, I checked it, was about 23,000 points. So when the market dropped, so on the 19th of February, the DJI was at an all-time high ever. It went up to over 29,000 points.
Wow.
And then 2-3 weeks later, it came down. It crashed to about 18, 19,000. So the market experienced 30 to 35%. When the market crashes between 30 and 35%, it can send us into a tailspin, into a recession. And if not handled properly, it can keep crashing and eventually send us to a Great Depression. So when the market corrects itself, is about 5-10%, the market drops. It's not much of a panic. But if it drops 20%, 30%, there's a huge panic. And as you can imagine, the stock market is like a beauty queen or a drag queen. It reacts to everything. When announcement can send the market into a tailspin. So you really have to understand all of those things, and when to get into the market, when to exit the market. Like earnings of a company, they usually declare quarterly earnings. That can affect the market. If there's a major announcement, there's a fraud, it can affect the market. So there's several things that can affect the market and the stocks in particular. So it's just about knowing what those things are and beginning to learn. So that's what I meant by real estate is easier than stocks. With the real estate, you just have to understand location, understand the way contractors are working, and so on and so forth. But with the market, a whole lot of things that sometimes is outside of your control. But even with that, over the years, you can get better on the stock market. And you invest for the long term. So even the short-term gains and the short-term noise making in the market wouldn't affect you.
Okay.
So typically, I'll say when you
yes.
look for index funds rather than mutual funds. If you're using a platform that doesn't have index funds, then consider mutual funds. If not, just do your individual stock picking, and you can start from that. I mean, I started years ago with one stock, Netflix. And then now I've been able to analyze several stocks over there, and I've been understanding the pattern, when to buy, when to sell, and stuff like that.
All right. So, Motraya, I think at this point, I want you to just, because I was going to ask you, now, a lot of these things sound very technical for a lot of us. And then I'm sure people will be wondering, okay, how do I understand these things clearly? This session cannot do it. So I know you do trainings. Am I right?
Yes.
You do training. So how can one get into your trainings, and then what's the price? Excuse me. What's the price range of these trainings, and how can one invest in these trainings to be able to start off? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you that you need this. We all need this. We need to be able to expand. And this woman has wealth of knowledge and understanding, and it's an investment that is worth your while. It is an investment that is worth your destiny, long and short. So I would advise that I want to ask, how do we get your trainings? How do we get your consulting, if possible, your coaching programs? How do we get involved in those?
Okay, so I do trainings for the 7-session training that I do, and we would again. I'm not saying the 7 sessions is enough for you to be like up there. You still need a lot of hand holding. But the initial 7 sessions, I charge $1,350 for that. If you're already $1,350 for the 7 sessions. If you're already in the market space, I charge a one-off session fee for $250 for those that already understand or they feel that one session is enough, and that's fine. I usually encourage people that, look, take as many sessions. If you think that within 2 hours or 1.5 hour session, I can pile all this knowledge in you that I've gained over 2 decades, it's impossible. And so,
I like that.
You have to be realistic. It's impossible. So that's what it is. That's what I charge for now. With time, I'm going to be issuing out a couple of online courses eventually. But for now, that's what I do. So the one-on-one session is $250 per session. And if you want 7 sessions, I've condensed it, and I've given a discount, and I'm doing that for $1,350. And that's how that is for now. And trust me, with the calls I'm getting, it's going to go up because it's a lot of work. But I just thought,
Yeah.
let me do something, for now, and then we'll see how it goes. And so those are the 2 training sessions I offer: one-off session or 7 sessions.
Awesome.
7 sessions will usually get you started because my sessions are very practical. I'm not just talking at you and telling you to do this. I'm actually hand-holding you. I'll look at, I'll research a platform that is suited for you. We'll do all the transfers and I'll hand, through the process. And I will say to you right now that if you're considering the global market, this is the time. There's not going to, the last time where this low was in 2008. Some stocks I'm researching, they're way lower than 2008. And those stocks are going to go up.
Yeah.
So I don't wake up to, I don't work till 3 a.m. in the morning for nothing. I'm constantly reading, constantly researching.
Wow.
And that's the thing about, you have to research. I mean, you don't want to drop the ball. There's a reason why my returns are extremely high in stock market. It's not because I'm eating more. I put in all the hard work.
All right, awesome. So that means in that 7 sessions, will it entail some follow up after that? Maybe like advice over time. Does that come into the play?
Yeah, definitely. With the 7 sessions, there's a monthly follow up, which can be arranged separately, and I encourage that because at the end of the day, see. One thing I always say is that no matter how smart you are on the market, global market does not tolerate arrogance. I have seen a lot of
love that
years of experience, and the market chew them out. So there's nothing like market arrogance. It's not like real estate. It's not like a business that I've been doing this business for 10 years. I know what the customer is like. No, it's a market. It's a global market. It's it's tens of trillions of dollars a market. It's not a joke. Everybody needs a community. Till today, even though I've been doing this for a while, I still have my community that I consult with. And what do you think about this particular product? What do you think? Let's research it together. Let's put minds together. And you always have to be that way, or else you won't be on top of your game. Of course, there's some people that they're not really willing to go that far. They just want to invest for themselves. In which case, I say, I depend on your risk appetite or your personality. I say, you know what, invest on these key stocks and go to sleep. And you'll be relatively safe. It's not like Nigeria's the whereby one day they're belly off. These are real companies, and it will really take an act of God to sink them. So they're already studied companies. So I can come up with a portfolio for you, take you through it, and then you'll be okay, and that's fine. But obviously, I'm a bit of I'm a bit of a different woman. I'm in there every single day, looking at the graphs, looking at everything, researching. That's what I do. That's what I enjoy doing. So obviously, I don't expect it to
you can't be doing it just for money. It's something you love doing. This is beyond just.
I absolutely love doing it, and I love training people because I know that what you don't know, when you know it, you do better. When you know the market and you understand it and you see the returns, even you're going to be super excited. And yes, you're going to be able to pick up that bag and just go somewhere and be okay. That yes, I got stuff there. I'll be fine.
All right, Motoya, thank you so much. Thank you so much. The devil is a liar. The internet wanted to play tricks on us, even though right now the screen is dark. Your own part of the screen is dark. I can't even see anything, but I can only hear your voice. At least that's my own end. I don't know what other people are experiencing, but I believe everybody could hear. If they could not hear, you would have heard people. That's pretty much what we'll take. I would say, however, that this is just day 3 of 12 days. Now, tomorrow I'm bringing my brother Steve Harris, and now he's my handsome, very intelligent brother who thinks he's finer than me. So that's still out for debate. But in between that, he's going to be talking about how to be able to run a business in this time of social distancing, how to be able to effectively run your business. A lot of people are, and if you look at our own side of the world in Nigeria, a lot of us are business owners, small business owners, and then there's been the restrictions and all that has affected a lot of people. They can't really do their business or make money. But what are the ideas that you need, even beyond by the time this lockdown is over, it won't be forever. By the time the lockdown is over, how can you pick up and hit the ground running, and be able to begin to make your money fast, even now while there's a lockdown, and especially when the lockdown is over. So you don't want to miss the session with Steve Harris, my brother, my friend, tomorrow. And so come with your notes, come with your pen, tell your friends, don't tell your enemies about this particular conference, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow. By then, I think I'll also be sharing with you, we will have improved the package that we talked about on the first session, where I said that I will be sharing with you something that we called the how to reinvent your business in this time. So we'll be working with it. Anyone who's interested in help me working with you to reinvent your business. We can't take too many people. It's just about 10 of you. In this post-COVID era, how do you thrive in your business? How do you because everything has to be redesigned. Everything has to be repackaged. Everything has to be worked on afresh. So how do you redesign your business from start to finish? Because the world that we're stepping into now is completely different from the world you knew. And it will move so fast that you will not believe it. So if you're not ready for it, if you're not at the forefront of, or you're not reinventing, not just adjusting, a lot of businesses will have to be completely recreated. And I can put you through how to get it done. And so we'll talk more about this tomorrow. Just stay tuned and get ready. Thank you so much to Motura for Ade-Famoti. Thank you to everyone who stopped by, everyone who tuned in, everyone who even popped their head in. I saw Remi Dairo just now. I saw my big sister there, Sister Tony Adeshola. I love you, sis. I saw a lot of people at one time or the other step in to the conference. Tomorrow, Riri Obaisi is also there. And then Gidi Agbola, it's good to see you, bro. So we have talked about investing abroad, investing offshore. You need to watch that video again. Watch this one. Don't be carried away by the internet fluctuations. Just listen to what she's sharing. That's what's important the most. You can watch the previous video. So it's 2 videos. One video could not be enough. One session could not be enough. So we have to do another one, a concluding one rather. So please watch them within the next 24 hours. Take notes. These are the times to prepare yourself. What is coming is a flood, and you better be ready. Once you are ready for it, you can be at the top of it. You can position yourself to excel, and you will excel. So see you tomorrow while we have Steve Harris on board. See you tomorrow, 7 p.m. same time. This platform, this channel,